5 keys to use covert hypnosis into your social interactions, or should I say how to be more likable in a social environment in general through some conversational skills, through some clever conversational skills. The very first thing is to use stories whenever possible to kind of elevate the people you are interacting with. For example, if you talk to somebody who is a lawyer, you might just talk about not the TV show Suits, because I guess it might piss them off to some extent sometimes, but of some other lawyer you heard about who did great things. Oh, you forgot about the name of that lawyer, but oh, that person really helped so many people into the neighborhood you grew up into. And you just glorify the job that person is doing. If to this the person responds, oh yeah, but I hate my job, we will get back to this later in the video, but it is just an idea to start elevating people who are around you. Surreptitiously, even if some of the stories you tell are not completely true, as long as you don't lie about yourself, it is fine to sometimes use stories that are kind of slightly not true, just to make people feel good in your presence. Mention good things you have heard from people who look like them, or mention good things from events that you have heard about, similar to the things they like talking about. Just make them build up more positive feelings about the things they like in themselves. And stories are a great way of doing just that. The second one is to always let people speak and finish their point before answering. Specifically, if you have some kind of conflict, not like a deadly, very difficult situation that is, which is another problem, there are other keys to deal with that, but even just a minor misunderstanding or a minor not really agreeing on something, even if in the end you're right, you have very clever points, even with that, let them finish. Too often people feel kind of insulted, not even because of what you say, but because you didn't let them say what they had to say, which is tricky. Even when your emotions dictate you want to tell something, slow down, let them finish, then speak out. A big reason behind that is that when you let people finish, you install a frame of respect into the interaction. You are indirectly controlling the frame by imposing that during this interaction, everyone let each other finish their sentence. And in that scenario, even if you have something to say that is controversial or people might dislike it, when you have let them finish their sentence and their point, they will make you finish yours much more easily. As long as you don't target anyone specifically or insult anyone in the room, they will let you finish your point. Even when you have something kind of disturbing to talk about, let them finish first, they will let you speak in turn. And once you have their attention, it is one of the biggest keys of conversational hypnosis to have people's attention and to make them listen to you clearly without evaporating into their own thoughts or just waiting for them to speak. When you let them speak, they will wait more patiently that you finish in turn. The third one is to ask more questions, to use more questions than claims or statements. When you use more questions, not even for an argument or anything of difficult, like any confrontation, not even that, even just in general, when you have somebody who is talking about his life or he is telling about his story, just question, like, okay, what do you like about this? What do you enjoy about this path? You are playing piano. Oh, what is it that you like most about piano? And you just make them dive deeper into their own positive emotions. Or you make them glorify themselves. Oh, what was your best moment with playing piano? Maybe you had a great overview, you had a great stage presence someday when you were 20 years old and you were in front of 500 people and you had everybody applauding you. Whatever happened, just make them talk about their positive experiences through questions more than statements. It is most likely for the early stage of an interaction. Then once people know you and once people respect you and once you have many friends, you can forget about those things. Those keys are more for the beginning, when you are meeting new people or when you are entering a new city, a new town, a new field, a new job. Just use those skills to better build the image of somebody who is reliable, somebody that people like, and place yourself as a person of authority but of kindness. When you have those two together, people just come back to you and listen to you and stop arguing with you all the time. So you are in a position of power, technically, because the least people hate you or condemn you or have a hate toward you, and the more you can influence them. Number 4 is whenever you are in front of a highly defensive or highly egotistic person, like somebody with a big ego who always wants to show he's the boss or whatever, when you have somebody like this in the room or in the space you are interacting into, quote instead of claiming something. What I mean by that is, even when you want to say something, you can just say exactly the same thing by quoting your grandpa, by quoting a friend of yours, by quoting what you heard on the media, whatever, and then asking that person, and what do you think about that? In that way, you have an interaction with that person, but without putting up their defenses, and without getting into any useless confrontation, because you're not talking into your own name, by your own voice and by your own name. You're talking through the voice of somebody else, but you still voice your opinion. You just have that through somebody else's voice, which prevents any confrontation, and then you have the thought, the opinion of that person that way. Next time, if you in the future at some point you actually need to be in a real confrontation with that person, you will already have a lot of information about them, because they will have been feeding all the things they would reply to you, whereas they never really reply to you because you have only voiced your opinions through other people's voices. Once you have enough information about that person, then you can counter all their reframes, all their clever controlling statements, or like even narcissistic statements to put you down. You can counter that because you already have all their weapons. You already know what they would answer. You already know what they would say or not say in that situation with that type of topic. So you can just argue with them very easily because they have already shown all their trumps, and you haven't shown anything technically, because you have only been talking through the voice of somebody else, through quoting somebody else. And number 5, the last one, is to question their motivations. So I talked about questions before. This one is more specific. Whenever you have somebody who talks about his job or some passion he has, just get them deeper in the past. Question in the past, what made you choose that? Out of curiosity. What made you choose that path? It will build an extremely strong bond, a strong connection between you and the person if you really question early memories, childhood memories, or just past memories in general. Anything that is meaningful, either in a good way or a bad way. Obviously, people that when you don't know them won't really share very negative stuff. Some people will, but in most cases they won't. Even the positive things, when you show appreciation for what they have lived in their lives so far by asking questions like, what made you choose that path, or how did you decide to become an artist, or whatever that person became. When you question that, they feel they are being listened to, they feel that you really have an interest in them and not just in the thing you have to sell, or if you want to get something out of them. People are getting more and more, intuitive about that. So when you ask questions like that, they are much more likely to like you and to question you back, and what about you? And that's the beginning of a real connection, of something where people will feel connected based on something, based on similarities, and not just based on common topics like the weather outside or who won the game last night that nobody really cares about in the end. If you enjoy that, you can download the document in the description. It is about developing your communication skills into social interactions, how to know what to reply to whom at which moment, based on their personalities, based on the context, all of that. And it will be of great help whenever you have to defend yourself against some bully maybe, or just when you want to persuade and influence people for the good.